Well, good evening to you. Welcome to another episode of Brett's Old Time Radio Show. The week has finally come to a close, and a big thank you for, making the choice to join us once again for another late night episode of Brett's Old Time Radio Show, where we check out some of the archives of old time radio shows right here at my home in the southwest of the United Kingdom. I'm Brett, I'm your host for our Nighttime podcast. Welcome to another episode. I've got Facebook, Instagram, YouTube and TikTok. They're all called Brett's Old Time Radio Show. If you give us a follow, there's loads of bits and pieces on there. We kind of give a little bit of an update on our lives, which you might find dull as dishwater, but hopefully some of you don't. We do have a awesome true crime weekly podcast. If you get a minute to check it out, that's called Sunday Night Mystery. And, time now for some comedy from Dad's Army. This is episode 2 of series 3. It's called The Honourable Man.
We present Arthur Lowe, John Le Mesurier and Clive Dunn in Dad's Army. The Honourable Man, featuring John Lorry, Arnold Ridley and Ian Lavender, with this week's guests Bill Pertwee, Julian Orchard, Larry Martin and Fraser Carr. Here is the news, and this is John Snagg reading it. It is late July 1941. And following Hitler's attack on the Soviet Union in June, Britain and Russia have signed a mutual aid pact against a common foe. Cooperation between the two countries is of the utmost importance. At the town hall in Warmington-on-Sea, the town clerk is addressing an important meeting.
Now, gentlemen, as you know, we are gathered here as a General Purposes Committee to discuss the arrangements for the visit of this Russian fellow to Warmington-on-Sea. Before we start the official business, I think it would be a good idea if I check that everyone who's meant to be present is in fact here.
Call the roll, you mean?
Yes, that's right, Captain Mannering. If you could just answer your names, I think that would be the quickest way.
Yes, I quite agree. Good idea.
So glad you approve. Right. Captain Mannering?
Yeah?
Are you here?
Well, of course I'm here. You've just been talking to me.
Yes, of course.
Oh, get on with it. We shall be here all night at this rate.
Yes, but I think we can also regard Mr. Hodges as being present, too. Mr. Fraser?
Hi, I'm here.
Mr. Wilson? Mr. Wilson?
I'm sorry, he doesn't seem to have turned up yet. Most unlike any of my men to be late.
I see. Well, we'll move on. Mr. Jones? Mr. Jones?
He's another of my men. I'm sure there must be a very good reason for his absence.
Yes, I'm sure, yes. Now, what about Mr. Walker? Is he present?
Yeah, I'm here. For once, Mr. Mannering, I bet you're glad to see me.
Well, there are one or two absentees, but I think we'd better make a start.
Hey, what about me? I'm here.
Sit down, Pike. You are here merely as a runner.
That's not fair, that's not fair. Look, how can I run if I'm sitting down?
Be quiet. Quiet, boy. Carry on, Mr. Upton.
Oh, thank you, Captain Mannering. Now, as town clerk, it has fallen to my lot to find a suitable man to coordinate and mastermind our arrangements. As far as I'm concerned, there's only one man who's outstandingly suitable for this task, and I'm going to move over and ask him, with your approval, I'm sure, to take the chair. Captain George Mannering.
Hey, just a minute. Why do we have to have him as chairman? Russians don't want officers and bank managers and all that snobbish rubbish.
Well, from the inquiries that I've made round the town, it seemed to me that Captain Mannering was the best choice.
Well, I don't agree. I think we ought to have an ordinary bloke. A greengrocer or somebody like that.
Do we know a greengrocer?
Yes, me.
If there's any dissent, I'll gladly stand down.
Yeah, it's a good idea. I'll second that.
I'll tell you what. Now, Captain Mannering, the simplest thing is for you to vacate the chair, then I'll take the chair and we'll take a vote.
Yes, very well.
Stand by for a quick game of musical chairs.
Now then, all in favour of Captain Mannering taking the chair, raise their hands. 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, that seems to settle that. It's hardly worth counting those against.
Oh, yes, it is.
Oh, very well. Against? 1. Carried by 4 to 1. Captain Mannering will take the chair, which I shall now vacate.
Oh, dear. Is it all over?
No, of course it isn't. Town clerk and I are just changing our positions.
Oh, really? You've got cramp or something?
Don't be absurd. Why are you late?
Oh, I'm sorry, sir, but I thought you said the meeting was at past.
I said 1:15. You don't listen.
There's a seat here, Mr. Wilson.
Oh, thank you, Walker, thank you.
Yeah, we just had the best bit. Odgie's tried to give Mannering the elbow.
Sorry I missed that.
Mr. Town Clerk, ladies and gentlemen.
There aren't any ladies here. Haven't you noticed?
The order, please.
Oh, Tara, I'll have a large scotch.
We're assembled here to honour the Russian worker, Vladislav... The point is, he's a hero of the Soviet Union. Now, on his goodwill trip, he's going to visit, amongst other places, Warmington-on-Sea. And naturally, we should provide some form of official welcome. The thing is...
Evening, everybody. I'm sorry I'm late, but it's been one of those days.
Yes, all right, John.
See, I had a bunch of sausage skins what was very diaphanous, sir. It was all right when I filled them, but when the ladies cooked them, the heat caused them to splurge, you see, sir. And the ladies, they don't like that sort of thing, you know, sir. Splurging is obnoxious to them.
Yes, I'm sure. Most distressing, yes. Now, as I was about to say, what form should our welcome to this Russian take?
Come, Manning. I've been giving the matter most careful thought, and I'm prepared to offer him a voucher worth £10 towards the cost of a funeral.
Blimey, he won't be able to take advantage of that unless he pegs out while he's over here.
That's a risk I have to take.
Why don't we give him the freedom of Warmington?
Yeah, that's right.
Why not?
And we could let him go into the cinema for nothing.
Blimey, Pike, he's only going to be here for a couple of hours.
Well, they could put on Mickey Mouse and a Donald Duck.
Pike.
Sir?
You kindly remember you're not on this committee. You're a messenger boy.
Are you trying to be helpful?
If you say another word, I shall send you back to the church hall and make you wait in my office on your own, with the door shut.
It's not fair. Why can't I make suggestions? Just because I'm the youngest, I always have to keep quiet. It's not fair.
Will you be quiet? Sorry about that, gentlemen. Now, to get back to the matter under discussion. I think Wilson made a very good suggestion. The question is, what form should the freedom take?
Well, how about a parchment scroll? They're very nice, they are.
Well, of course, parchment isn't easy to come by nowadays, but I reckon I can lay my hands on some.
Well, what about a key?
Ah, yes. We'll arrange some sort of ceremonial presentation, and then I, as chairman of the committee, will hand it over to him.
Oh, got yourself in there quick enough, didn't you, Napoleon?
Excuse me, Captain Manning. Music!
I don't hear anything.
No. That's what we need, man. Music. The town band playing and the church choir singing the red flag.
Oh, you should have heard what that choir was singing behind the scout out last night, Mannering. Would have made your hair stand on end. If you had any.
The man said, why don't we have the town band playing Russian-type music, and I will dress up as a Cossack and do me cobblers.
I beg your pardon?
Cobblers, sir, there's a highly difficult kicking and crouching steps what the Cossacks do, sir. They do a lot of kicking and crouching and cobbling the Cossacks do, sir. They go, hop, hey, oh, wee, hop, hey. So, I'll have to practice, of course.
Yes. Thank you very much, Joe. We'll consider your suggestion. Now, the Home Guard will parade, of course. I don't suppose the wardens will want to bother.
Oh, yes, they will. You're not keeping us out of it.
Captain Mannering, I assume Sergeant Wilson will be giving a demonstration of acrobatic motorcycle riding, eh?
What about it, Mr. Wilson, eh?
Motorcycle riding?
Perhaps I should explain. This is a joke at the expense of my sergeant. We have a motorcycle in the platoon, but so far he hasn't been persuaded to mount it.
Well, they're such awfully noisy things, aren't they?
Anyway, that's another matter. The thing is that one way or another, the arrangements for this visit seem to be taking shape. I shall now go ahead and coordinate these various suggestions, and I feel sure that, as usual, Warmington-on-Sea will rise to the occasion.
And bore the pants off everybody.
And Pike, I warned you. Go back to the church hall and wait for me in my office.
All right.
With the door shut.
All right, I'm going.
Right, gentlemen, I think that concludes our meeting.
And don't think I shan't tell my mum about you.
Pike,
Yes, Mr. Mannering?
ask Mr. Wilson to come and see me, please.
Oh, he's not back from lunch yet, Mr. Mannering.
Not back from lunch? It's 2:20. Oh. Tell him I want to see him the second he gets in.
All right, Mr. Mannering. Mr. Mannering, could I have a word with you?
Yes, all right.
Can I have Sergeant Wilson's turn on the motorbike this evening, please?
Certainly not, Pike. That motorbike is issued for the platoon sergeant, and he's jolly well going to knuckle down and learn to ride it.
Mum says if he comes home with his face scratched and his arm in a sling, she'll give him what for.
Look, Pike, who's running this platoon? Me or your mother?
Well, he's more frightened of Mum.
Is he indeed?
Oh, by the way, Mr. Mannering, here's the 12 o'clock post. It came at 2:05. Hey, and look at this one. Someone's playing a joke on Uncle Arthur. To the Honourable Arthur Wilson.
Let me see that envelope. To the Honourable Arthur Wilson, private.
Does that mean he isn't a sergeant anymore?
Stupid boy. Come in!
Excuse me, sir, did I leave my bungee on your desk?
You leave your what?
My bungee. My rubbing out thing.
Oh, never mind about that. I want you, Wilson. Shut the door.
Right. Well, sir, what can I do for you?
This letter, Wilson. I should be obliged if you'd ask your friends to keep their practical jokes out of my bank. Look at this on the envelope.
Oh, Lord, that wretched solicitor. I told him not to use the title of my letters. Oh, blast.
What are you talking about?
Well, it seems to be all round the town now. I suppose you were bound to find out sooner or later.
Are you trying to tell me that this letter isn't a joke?
Anything but, I'm afraid.
And you really are the Honourable Arthur Wilson?
Yes. Silly, isn't it?
Oh, I think it's wonderful.
Leave the room, Pike.
Yes, Mr. Mannering.
Then close the door.
Oh, all right.
Now, Wilson. Mind explaining yourself?
Well, it's just that this uncle of mine died, you see, sir, and he didn't have any children, so my side of the family all moved up one, so to speak, see? So now I'm the Honourable.
I see.
Well, there's no reason why it should make any difference to me.
You can bet your bottom dollar it won't make any difference to you. And you needn't think you could start rolling in 20 minutes late after lunch, either. Where have you been?
Well, I popped up and had a bite to eat at the golf club.
Who took you to the golf club?
I'm a member.
You remember? Since when?
Well, you see, they heard about this title thing, and they asked me if I'd like to join.
I've been trying to get into the golf club for years.
But I believe they're awfully particular.
You don't even play.
No, I know I don't, but I shall enjoy the food, you see. They managed to find some smoked salmon for me at lunchtime.
Oh, smoked salmon at the golf club?
Yes.
All I had was a snook fish cake at the British restaurant. I find this quite unbelievable. You, the Honourable Arthur Wilson.
Yes, well, it does have a certain sort of a ring to it, don't you think?
Anyway, even if you do consider yourself part of the aristocracy, just remember that as far as this bank is concerned, I am still the manager and you are still the clerk.
Oh, yes, of course, sir.
And what's more, remember that I am still the officer and you are still the sergeant. So pull your socks up and get on with your work.
All right, sir, yes, sir, yes.
And don't be late for this evening's parade either.
No, sir, no.
Honourable Arthur Wilson. Yes, Pike, what is it?
Mr. Mannering, the area manager's on the telephone. He's been hanging on for quite a while, but I didn't put him through because I knew you were talking to the Honourable Uncle Arthur.
Did you really? Put him through now.
Yes, Mr. Mannering.
Hello? Mannering here, sir. Sorry to have kept you waiting, sir. No, I was in conference with my chief clerk. Wilson, yeah. Well, actually, it's the Honourable Arthur Wilson. No, I always pick my staff for the great K, Rower. What can I do for you, sir? If it's about the...
Of course, when I was a regular soldier, we had a lot of officers who were honourable. Well, at least they were called honourable. Anyway, these honourables used to stand in a haughty manner, as if they had a nasty smell under their noses. I'll say this for them, they was very good at keeping stiff upper lips. We had one officer at the Battle of Omdurman, he had his head blown off, but his upper lip was still as stiff as castle.
Being an honourable hasn't changed Uncle Arthur a bit, you know. He still calls me Frank like he was an ordinary common person.
It won't change him. He was a fool before and he's a fool now.
I used to serve one or two honourables when I was in the Army and Navy stores. They were just ordinary people like any other customers. The only difference was you couldn't get the money from them.
All right, fall in, please. Fall in 3 ranks.
Come on, hurry up. Settle down.
Mr. Speak, sir?
Yes, Jones.
Could you settle a small technical discussion, sir? Do we address Sergeant Wilson as the Honourable Sergeant Wilson or Sergeant the Honourable Wilson?
No, please. I don't want any fuss. I just want to be like an ordinary sergeant, sir.
I gave up any hope of your behaving like an ordinary sergeant long ago. Right, men. Now let's go over our part of the ceremony where I hand over the key.
Come, Mannering. Why are you handing it over? I think the Honourable ought to do it.
I don't agree. Captain Mannering always does this sort of thing with great dignity.
Yeah, that's right, he does.
Thank you, Walker.
Mind you, I think there's a lot to be said for a change.
Well, I look at it this way. Sergeant Wilson may have 3 stripes on his honourable arm, but you, Captain Manning, still have 3 pips on your common shoulders. So it's still one up to you, even if you are common. You've got a better insignia, and that is how it should be, because that is the status quo.
Thank you, Jones. With regard to Saturday's ceremony, I've been doing some research into the way these Russian chaps show appreciation. Apparently they don't cheer like we do, but instead they applaud. So I think that's what we ought to do.
Yeah, but Mr. Mannering, if we present arms and then clap hands, there will not be a lot of blue toes round the platoon.
I don't have to be told that, thank you, Walker. We shall have to find some other method.
Well, why don't we ground arms? Then we can clap away till the cars come home.
Precisely. Just what I was about to say.
Oh, of course, of course.
Testing you, Wilson.
Yes, very clever of you. Very clever.
Mr. Speak, sir?
Yes, Jones.
Well, we haven't done any grounding of late, sir. Could we have a go now, sir, and then we could all get familiar?
Good idea, Jones. Squad, head! Try and keep up, Jones. Ground, arms!
1, 2, 3.
Applause for the Russian hero. Begin!
Oh, thank you very much, gentlemen. I didn't expect such a nice welcome.
Good evening, Mr. Upton. What can we do for him?
Well, it's about the Russian visit. Can I have a word with you, Captain Mannering?
Yes, of course. Carry on, Wilson.
Very good, Captain Mannering. Good evening, Mr. Upton.
Oh, good evening, sir.
Now, how can I help you?
Well, I hope you won't take this amiss, but we feel that since Mr. Wilson has come into a title, and we haven't any other title people in Walmington, well, the Honourable Arthur ought to present the key.
Oh, no. No. I couldn't possibly allow such a thing. Now, let's be quite clear about this. I'm presenting the key, and that is an end to the matter.
Well, of course, if you feel like that.
I do. I'll leave you to let yourself out through the side door. Good night.
Good night, Captain Mannering.
Wilson.
Yeah.
You've engineered all this, haven't you, Wilson?
Oh, believe me, sir, I wish it had never happened.
Oh, yes, I can believe that.
No, really, sir, really. I mean, I didn't ask to belong to the golf club. I'm getting begging letters, and how Mrs. Pike wants me to buy a pipe, a tweed, hat, and a Labrador. Really, I mean, life isn't worth living anymore.
Don't give me all that soft soap. You're reveling in it.
Oh, really, sir, really.
Now, just remember what Jones said. I've got 3 of these pips, and all you have is 3 miserable stripes. On Saturday, I shall be presenting that key. And you know what you're going to be doing before the ceremony?
I really no idea.
You're going to ride that motorcycle, Sergeant Wilson. And I'm going to supervise your departure, personally.
Has the bike got enough petrol in it, Joe?
Yeah, I think so, Pikey. Anyway, I can't get my hands on any more until next week, so it'll have to be okay.
Is the bike ready, Walker?
Yes, sir.
Good.
Captain Mannering, if Uncle Sergeant the Honourable Wilson falls off, you know, and breaks his leg. Look, can I have the bike for a bit, please?
Do be quiet, Pike. Why on earth is Wilson taking so long to get ready?
He's putting on his protective clothing, sir.
I did some flying goggles I brought back from France during the 1418 war, sir.
And he's borrowed my cold store boots.
And I've lent him my old overalls. I wear them when I'm embalming.
How very appropriate.
Here he comes now.
Blimey, it's Amy Johnson.
Morning, everybody.
Well, hurry up and get mounted, Wilson. You've got time for an hour's spin before the ceremony.
Wouldn't 10 minutes be enough?
Of course it wouldn't. Right. Carry on, Jones.
Yes, sir. Now, remember, Mr. Wilson, you squeeze the clutch with your left hand,
yes.
Then you kick upwards onto the gear with your right foot, and rev up with your right hand by doing a sort of thrum. Right. And then you let out the clutch with your left hand like you was unsqueezing a lemon.
There you are, Wilson. Couldn't be simpler. Unsqueezing a lemon.
Come on.
Get the bike started.
I'll give you a hand. Come on, Mr. Wilson.
Oh, thank you, Jonesy. Thank you.
Right, Wilson. Off you go. We'll see you at the ceremony in about an hour.
Yes. I suppose so. Well, goodbye, everybody.
Yeah, come on, rev up, Mr. Wilson, rev up. From. Unsqueeze your lemon.
Captain Henry, do you think I ought to follow him on a bicycle with my first aid kit?
No. No, it's high time Sergeant Wilson learned to fend for himself. Right, men. Fall in for inspection. And then in half an hour we'll move off down to the clock tower for the official parade. Quite a number of people have turned up to watch the ceremony, Jones.
Yes, I expect they all come to see you do your presentation bit, sir.
Yes, I suppose so.
Woo! All right. Hey.
Who are you waving at?
My old dad. Look, he's over there, standing on that pillar box.
Your father? Is he still with us?
Well, not as much as he was. All right, Dad, all right.
Look, I'd rather you didn't wave, Jones.
All right.
Jones, don't wave. After all, we are on parade.
Yes, sorry, sir. I say, sir, the men all look very smart, don't they?
Yes, they do indeed. By Jove. Getting very near the big moment. It's almost 3 o'clock.
I see the mayor's already in position on the platform.
I must say Sergeant Wilson's running it a bit fine. I wonder where he's got to.
He should have been here by now.
Perhaps Sergeant Wilson has become disassociated from his motorbike in some obscure place of which we know not.
Yes, I suppose that's possible.
If you've killed my Uncle Arthur, my mum will never let you hear the end of it.
You be quiet, Pike. I'm sure he's perfectly all right.
Still, you must admit, sir, not like Mr. Wilson not to telephone or something.
Perhaps they can't find a phone box.
Yeah, you know, I used to have that trouble when I was first out in the Sudan.
I wouldn't have thought they had any phone boxes in the Sudan.
They haven't. That's why I couldn't find one.
I still can't understand why Sergeant Wilson hasn't telephoned. There are lots of phone boxes in this country.
Well, maybe he didn't have any pennies on him.
I used to try and carry money about with me, especially for the telephone, but then, just when I needed some pennies, I always found I'd already spent them.
Good afternoon, Captain Mannering. Are your men quite ready?
Yes, of course.
By the way, where is Mr. Wilson? He doesn't seem to be lined up with the rest of your unit.
No, he hasn't returned from his motorcycle training yet.
By the sound of it, I think something's happening.
Yes, rather looks like it.
Yes, here comes the Russian staff car.
Stand by, everybody! Not yet! Wait until the car door opens.
Number 1 platoon, round off!
1, 2, 3.
Up! Clapping and cheering the Russian visitor, come in!
All right, I say, that'll be enough of that. Thank you.
Comrade Vladislavsky, on behalf of
Hello, everybody.
Merci me.
I'm not late, am I?
What do you mean I'm not late, am I? Where on earth have you been? What are you doing in the official Russian car?
Shush, Mr. Mannering. Comrade Vladislavsky, if you'll follow me, I'll show you to your place.
Come over here, Wilson. Now, what's going on? Why are you so filthy?
Well, it's really quite simple, sir. I was bowling along on a motorbicycle, quite enjoying it, as a matter of fact. When all of a sudden, out of a side turning came a large car, in fact, this car. Anyway, I had to swerve, quite violently to miss it.
Go on. I'm fascinated.
Well, as soon as Comrade Vladislawski realised what had happened, he stopped his car, helped me up personally, and offered to take me to the nearest hospital. Luckily, however, I hadn't actually been hurt in the accident, so I declined his offer. See?
Look, Wilson. If you don't get to the point quickly, you may well need to take him up on it.
See? Well, anyway, in the course of our conversation, he found out I was on my way here for the ceremony, and since the motorcycle was rather badly broken, he insisted I came with him in his car, so there you are, see? Here I am. Well, it's better late than never, isn't it?
In your case, no.
My lords, ladies, and gentlemen, pray silence for Captain Mannering.
That's you, sir.
Yes, I'm well aware of that. Thank you, Wilson. I'll talk to you later.
Captain Mannering, everybody's waiting.
Comrade Vladislaw... Honoured guest, Your Worship, the Mayor, ladies and gentlemen, on this auspicious occasion, it gives me great pleasure, on behalf of the citizens of Warmington-on-Sea, to welcome you to our fair town. Comrade hero of the Soviet Union, you and I are united in our common struggle, although we live poles apart.
God blimey, Jonesy, trust Mannering to mention the Poles.
We greet you as a brother in arms, and we are very proud and honoured to present you with this key, which symbolises the freedom of Warmington-on-Sea.
Niet.
What does niet mean?
Well,
Listen.
from the look on his face, sir, and the way he's pushing that key away, I think it fairly obviously means no.
I represent the workers of the Union of Soviet Socialist Republics. You people sitting here are not workers. Your faces are soft and clean, your hands are soft and clean. You are bourgeois middle class.
Damn cheek.
And you wish to honor me? Is it not better that you should honor one of your own workers? For example, that man over there.
Who, me?
Yes, you, comrade.
Hey, look, Mr. Godfrey. He's pointing at Uncle Arthur.
Are you quite sure? You don't think he means Captain Mannering?
Yeah, of course not, you silly old duffer. He said worker.
Comrade, come over here. Let me shake you by the hand.
Oh, it really is awfully generous of you. I hope you'll forgive all this grease and dirt.
Sycophant.
Look, everybody. Here is a man in a uniform, not of an officer, not of an imperialist, but that of a slave worker.
Slave worker, my foot is my chief clerk.
He has the dirt of the worker on his hands. He has the sweat of the worker on his brow.
Uncle Arthur better have a good wash before he gets home, or Mum won't give him his tea.
I shall be honoured to present this key to your town of Wilmington, to my fellow worker. Here, comrade, it is yours.
Oh, I say, thank you so much. How awfully civil of you.
And now I must go. Do svidaniya.
Oh, shut up!
In that episode of Dad's Army, based on the original television series by Jimmy Perry and David Croft, you heard Arthur Lowe as Captain Mannering, John LeMessurier as Sergeant Wilson, Clive Dunn, Corporal Jones, John Lorry, Private Fraser, Arnold Ridley, Private Godfrey, Ian Lavender, Private Pike, Bill Pertwee, Chief Warden Hodges, Larry Martin, Private Walker, Julian Orchard, Mr. Upton, the Town Clerk, and Fraser Carr as the visiting Russian. The Honourable Man was adapted for radio by Harold Snowd and Michael Knowles and produced by John Dias.
Welcome back. Hope you enjoyed our latest episode of Dad's Army, and we'll be back with some mystery and adventure with insurance investigator Johnny Dollar. That goes live at 5 p.m. British summertime tomorrow. As I mentioned earlier, we've got a supporter page, patreon.com/Sunday Night Mystery. But for now, thanks for your time. I'll be with you 7 days a week, each and every week, and I'll see you tomorrow on Brett's Old Time Radio Show. Love you. Bye.